Oh, okay, it's 10 o'clock. Let me see. Let me see who's going to be first. Who will be first?
Fight for first. Fight for
This
first.
time.
Oh, Tony got it.
Tony got it. Tony. And there's Tony. Tisha, look at you.
Oh,
Look at you
Tisha.
guys.
Nice.
Yay.
Oh, Tommy. Tommy's second.
Tommy also.
Hey, Tommy. Nice.
Tommy's in the house.
Tommy's
All the
good.
way from England.
Yes, he's very
Ah.
committed.
Let me turn this a little up higher. So yay, now we're in frame. That's good. That is good.
So I have I'll give you the first question from Tony. If you want to say hi and stuff. Who was your sparring partner that had the hardest strikes in sparring? That's going to be Tony's first one.
Okay, so the question from Tony was, who was the sparring partner who had the hardest strikes that I faced? I would say Pedro Rizzo. Pedro Rizzo is a very powerful individual. I think I told this one time. I came clean about like a year ago. I was at the UFC training center, and I had to film something there. And there was Brazilian people that were out there, and they were making a documentary about Pedro Rizzo. And when they saw I was there, they say, "Hey, you know him, right?" I said, "Well, he's one of my sparring partners, and I was his sparring partner for his fights." So yeah, we know each other very well. We used to train together. So do you want to tell a story about him? I said, I'll tell you a story about him. He almost dropped me with a liver kick one time. So it was so hard, and I acted like nothing was going on. So I just kept a poker face. And I looked very careful at the clock, so make sure that he didn't see it. And what I started doing, I started overcommitting with right straight punches. Because if you're hurt to the body, you do not want to throw a straight punch. So I figured, if I'm going to throw a lot of right straights, I'm going to give him the illusion that I'm not hurt. And then he's not going to go after it. Because if he touches that again, I'm going to go down. And my game plan worked. Because he thought there's no way that he's hurt. Otherwise, he would never throw so many right straight punches. So I got away with it. But let me tell you, it was very close. It was a very heavy kick. So, and punches also. The guy has a lot of power. But then again, Marco Ruas is one of those guys who has no clue how strong he is. And then every time you got to tell him, dude, tone down a little bit. But man, on the ground and standing, it is so powerful. Everything comes at you with a vengeance. So you really have to make sure that you are in full defense. But I sparred a lot of guys. So
yeah, sure.
But yeah, most heaviest kick for sure, Pedro Rizzo. Peter Earth. It's also fun to spar with that guy. There's a lot of weight and a lot of technique. And everything he throws is hard as well. So then again, you spar with guys like Robert Deckers all the way back. He's lighter. But, dude, the guy is so phenomenal. So, yeah, that would be my answer.
Nice. Okay, we had a few questions in the comments yesterday, too. I don't know if you probably saw some of them. Were people buying, if they want to buy the Body Action System in Germany and then in New Zealand?
Oof.
Two specific countries.
Yeah, New Zealand and what's the other one? New Zealand and Germany. Okay. Germany, I believe we have a warehouse in Europe. So just contact the website. It's bodyactionsystem.com. Don't go anywhere else because there are bootlegs out there. And every time we get the complaints, but then they show us the Body Action System, we say, yeah, you didn't buy it from us. It's not ours. So there are bootlegs out there. Watch out. This thing, well, I'm pointing, but it's not here. Took me over 2 years to make. So because I broke a lot of them every time. It's very hard because to find something that could really hold up to the power. And what people don't realize, all the springs that are in there, it all has to match the certain weight of the head. And the head has like 3 or 4 layers of foam. So one dense one, less dense one, and even less dense one, to absorb the impact. But people don't know that if the head would be moving too much, that means it's too heavy. Then the spring flies all over the place. If it's too light, it doesn't move. So you have to find that perfect, the perfect solution for it. It was very hard. Every time I get 6 new heads sent, like every 6 weeks, I had to try them out. And then I said, this is great, but this foam is a little bit too hard. Make it a little softer. Okay, well, if you make the foam softer, now the weight of that head is not going to match the spring anymore. You're going to have to redo everything. It was a nightmare. It was so bad that the people who I'm doing business with, they said, let's just bring it out. I said, no, we can't. It's got my name on it. And literally, BAS, it says. So it needs to be very strong. But finally, we found it. It's very strong now.
So hopefully through that link, they can...
Yeah, just go to bodyactionsystem.com and then just send a question in, say, hey, can we buy them in Germany? And I'm pretty sure it's there. New Zealand, I don't know. We can. Of course, we can ship it. But I don't know what the shipping and handling is going to be. By the way, what we got? How many people we got here? We don't know.
We have and there's another T-shirt question. Okay, yeah, we have several.
Yeah, well, I'll wait a little bit. Okay, so I'll repeat this one time so the people know. If you want to buy a body action system, because last week we were talking about CBD, and I said, oh man, I wish that I would have known this sooner, because there was just a really great promotion going on for the brand rival, Receptra. But I called them up and I said, hey, can we do another thing only for the listeners and the viewers here that we have on this weekend? So this weekend only, if you go to Receptra, 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 Naturals, ReceptraNaturals.com, and you put promo code BOSS25 in there at the checkout, you get 25% off of everything you buy. So ReceptraNaturals.com, promo code BOSS25. That will take 25% off of everything. And then I figured, hey, we're talking about the O2 Trainer. Let's do BOSS20 at O2Trainer.com. You get 20% discount on an O2 Trainer if you want to do that. And there was another one. What was the other one? The Body Action System. The Body Action System. I called them. They couldn't do a promotion, but it is a promotion. It's worth $125. It's the shipping and handling and extra bags. So the shipping and handling, needless to say, a stand like that is going to cost you some money. So they will take away the shipping and handling and then the bags. And the promo code for that is BOSS2020. BOSS2020. BodyActionSystem.com. BOSS2020. One more time. ReceptraNaturals.com. 25% everything up with BOSS25. And then O2Trainer.com. That's where you get the training device. BOSS20. And that's 20% of everything. So, but that's only for you guys. For the people who are watching it, those promos you won't see anywhere else.
Okay, so we can't post them later.
No, I'm not going to post them. This is just for the people who are watching this. Okay. That's why I kind of set this up.
Then maybe we'll repeat it again.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say it again. Okay, cool. Several questions about self-defense, and if someone seriously wants to do self-defense, what do you recommend? And then another one on that are open hand strikes good in self-defense? Yes, open hand strikes are great in self-defense. I was fighting like that as a bouncer because I saw my peers, so to say, they broke their hands. Because if you fight this commotion, you with 3 bouncers and you fight like 7, 8 guys, well, you're not going to perfectly aim everything. You want to deck everybody as fast as you can, of course. And then problems are there, of course. You're going to hit the skull, and once you break your hand, well, then you can't punch with this hand anymore. So I started palm striking, and I hit with the bone. So it's not a palm. People think it's a palm. I hit literally with the wrist part, the bony part of my wrist, and I aim behind the ear. And something else, I don't know why we don't see this more in MMA, because it makes no sense to me. Think about this. I'm always talking about distance, right? A left hook, right straight. A left hook, right straight combination is a combination a lot of people use. But look, if I connect with the left hook, I'm too close for my right straight. I'm way too close. So if you give a palm strike, see, now you have way more room for your straight punch. So actually throwing a left palm strike to somebody's head and then a straight punch, it's a better technique. It's a much more safer technique, and you have a harder right straight punch. So street fighting, very good. Street fighting, I Krav Maga worldwide. I really like that organization because I worked with those people a lot, and they're really updating, and I saw the updates. I remember in the beginning, the gun defense was a certain way that they pulled the gun up. But then in the field, somebody did that, and actually the finger from the person who was holding the gun wrapped around it, and they couldn't pull the gun out. So they immediately, Yeah, because they taught us, because I did Krav before I came here, and they taught us that it would like break their finger and that's it. Take it out. And now they don't do that anymore. Now they're pulling it straight up instead of making a twist, because that could wrap the skin around, and he couldn't pull the gun out. So they literally have situations in where they tried it out, in real life, and if it didn't work, they immediately,
they adapt, and they make sure that it's good again. And that's what I really liked about them. They're very solid. I'm always about everything needs to be perfect. And with them, it's the only way. That's what I said for fun one time, because I kept repeating the line. I said, well, it's the only way. And it's really the only way. Now, then again, of course, you have to watch out what teacher, because you can have a system that's really good, but the teacher can be wrong. It's like almost like the Catholic Church gets a lot of heat, right, for all these crazy people. But that's not what Jesus preached. See what I mean? But that's just bad people, and that's the same with this. It's a really great system, but if you have a bad teacher to teach, who gets quality control anyway? But I would always simply Google. Go to a gym, sign up. First class is always free. If it's not free, don't even go there, because it should be free. And then train with them. And if you enjoy it, well, then you might join. But I would always Google and see the reviews of people, what they say about that certain gym, about the instructors. Mm-hmm. It's important. Self-defense, and I'm actually going to talk about it at the Empower event. It's now in November. It was going to be May 1st, first of all. It's a martial arts convention. Self-defense, as a teacher, I find it very dangerous to teach. And people, well, what do you mean? I say, well, there are always people who completely believe in their skill. So imagine you've been taught a wrong gun defense or a knife defense. And suddenly on the street, there you are with a friend of yours, and the friend gets attacked and somebody pulls a knife, and that guys go, hey, don't worry, I got it. Step back. I'll take care of it. And if you learn the wrong defense, you might die. And then I say that's on the teacher. Because if they taught that wrong, and there's a lot of wrong stuff out there, guys. Like gun defenses, some people, they flip the gun so it falls on the ground. It's the dumbest thing there is. Never go. Now it's a fight for the gun on the ground. And other people might be there and they can't pick it up. It's a very dangerous. You're going to control the weapon, and all those things, that's what Krav Maga Worldwide does. So, yeah, make sure that you get a good school, Google, and a good instructor. But boy, if it goes wrong, somebody dies.
Yeah. And I remember when I first did Krav, like you have the foreword on that main Krav Maga book.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, Boz lives near me. I can actually go to his gym. Like it was really cool.
But there are some teachers also, because I noticed that. You remember when you came in and you stood too close?
Yes.
She stood too close for a body shot, and I remember that also. And I said, "Have you been training at Krav Maga Worldwide there and there and there?" And she says, "Yes." How do you know? I said, "Well, they do it over there. I want you to step a little bit further away." Street and fighting is a little different distance as well. You got to watch out. But, so I picked these things up, and there's another one came in. It was from the same. You remember I said, oh, you're probably the same club. But you can tell. So, yeah.
And then you had to break. Kanan was doing the pivot with the
hooks. Pivot, yeah.
And I hadn't learned that. I never picked that up. So I was like, oh, good, I don't have to break that habit.
Yeah.
But
because it's a bad habit. Once you have to break a habit that you've been doing for a long time, the pivoting on the left hook, we were talking about it last week, it's very hard to undo that.
Yeah. So I was like, yes, I don't have to undo that one. Speaking of books, are there any martial arts books that you recommend?
Well, I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, right? Everybody knows this. So the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, I really enjoy that book. And the reason is that you will find any freaking submission in there. You will have heel hooks, toe holds, knee bars. In Bruce Lee's book, The Tao of Jeet Kune Do, the way of Jeet Kune Do, that's what Tao means. And we say the art of. And it's coincidentally, it almost means the same. Nice. And for the rest of the books, The Alchemist, I was talking about, I saw just somebody who said, hey man, I read that book as well. That's just a great book. It's not a fighting book, but it's a book that puts you on the right track. It's about a sheep herder who looks for his personal legend. That's what he's looking for. In the beginning, you think, what did he tell me to buy? The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Well, once you start reading that, it has a really smart way to get inside your mind and for you to start noticing certain things. Let me say this. It's over 70 million copies have been sold. It's the most translated book in the world next to the Bible. So it is a very special book. Like all the biggest people on the planet, presidents, kings, whatever, have been seen with that book. And I figured, well, if they read it, I'm going to read it. And I read it. Really great book. There's another book, The Greatest Salesman in the World by Oak Mondino. But that takes 10 months to read. So it's only this thick. People go, what is going on? And that's a very smart way what this guy does as well. So Matthew McConaughey was talking at the Actors Studio about this book. And he told me it was going to be 10 months. And that was when I was in 2013. And I go, well, I'm already this age. Why would I? I go, no, why wouldn't I? So what happens is he's the world's greatest salesman. He's going to pass away. He needs to push on his skill set to an apprentice. And he finds this one boy, and then he has a box or whatever it is, an urn with scrolls in them. There's 10 scrolls of them. And every day for a month, whatever amount of days you have in a month, you have to read the scroll 3 times a day. So you wake up, you read the first page. It takes about 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes read. So during the day, you find another time where it's nice and relaxed. You read it again. And then just before you go to sleep, last thing you do, you read the passage again. Now, what it's doing is it starts imprinting in your mind because you're going to do it for 30 days or 31 days or sometimes 28, not 29 days, of course. But, and those are things that you already know, kind of, but you don't live by them anymore. And once you start doing that, suddenly you realize that you're the second and the third weekend, you memorize the complete thing. It's in your mind now. You see, it's a very smart way to get inside your mind to start paying attention to certain things. And once that month is over, you go to scroll number 2, bada bing, bada boom, 10 months later, you're done with the book.
That's crazy. This one's funny. Once you've knocked your opponent out, do you leave the scene or stay and talk to authorities?
On the street. Holland is, from Holland, this is really nice. In Holland, you beat people up or win in a fight. The police comes there. They might make a little report there, but that's it. If nobody presses charges, so that's kind of cool. Once something bad happens, talking about that guy that I kicked in the face, because he knocked out 3 women, including my ex-mother-in-law.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And then I had to come, and then he and his son-in-law attacked me both simultaneously. So I had to do something, and that went a little bit too hard. So, sometimes mistakes have been made.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to put a few together. So if someone's a beginner, do you have a specific recommendation for discipline, Muay Thai, kickboxing, BJJ, etc.? And then also lots of questions on if an older person is starting. So maybe beginner in general, and then if an older person is starting, and what have you felt as you've been aging, but still in martial arts?
Well, first of all, age is just a number. We have Jens here, who was a bodybuilder, a power lifter, who was 38. I told him he had to lose all that, and he says, "What does it mean?" I said, "All that weight. You're way too heavy. It's going to work against you." He did lose 45 pounds. He started fighting at 205. Had like 12 fights now. I think he won 9. So he started at 38. This is the fight class room. We have a guy here, Roel, and he's 82 years old. 82.
Do you know when he started? Did he start?
Yeah, he started young probably, and he just wants to stay in it. He just loves it. And of course, the pros here and the fighters that we have, even the amateurs, they're skill-wise, they're very good, so they never get hurt. If he would go to a regular class of sparring, then he might get hurt. But against people who know what they're doing, he won't have that problem. To pick a sport is a very hard thing to say right now. I would say you always need wrestling. Like it's either you're a really good wrestler and a striker, or you're a really good wrestler and a ground fighter. If you want to just pick 2 arts. So for street self-defense, if you say, I want to just pick 2 arts or 1 art, that's a hard one. Because you never know what you're going to face. But if you're a really good wrestler and a good striker, well, with your wrestling skills, you can keep the fight on the feet. They cannot take you down, and you can knock them out. If you're a really good ground fighter with really good wrestling skills, you see, that's why I always said wrestling is the glue that holds MMA together. It would drive me nuts because I would always talk about striking and people striking. They say, "Oh, boss doesn't like wrestlers." It's the dumbest comment that I ever made. Every interview, I always say wrestling is the one part that you always need. So it's hard. So pick two sports. Preferably for me, we don't have wrestling in Holland. Maybe 4 gyms in the entire country. So for me, I really focused on submissions and really focused on striking. So when they would take me down, well, I would reverse them and go for a submission. And on the feet, I would try to knock them out. So you always need to pick 2. That would be the best. If you do 1 striking art, I would say Thai boxing. But again, find a good gym. Because if you have a gym that really doesn't know what he's doing, there's so many gyms out there that unfortunately have not such great teachers.
Mm-hmm. This is a quick one. His dad has a history of lung problems and COPD. Do you recommend the O2 trainer?
Yes, it depends how old your dad is. If he's getting
65.
65, I think it will still be okay. My cousin and his friend, Both have COPD. His friend couldn't come his stairs up because he didn't see him for a while. He found out he had COPD. I sent him immediately to a trainer. And my cousin, Hein, and this is 100% truth, he said 10 days later he came, just walked the stairs up one time. So it really helps with COPD, with asthma, with everything. He has to start very slowly. Only do the breathing exercises that I always talk about. Only do the breathing exercises. Let me turn this thing off because it keeps pinging. Yeah, but for sure it will help, but gentle. Also with the coronavirus, somebody said, "Oh, you're stupid because you said you have to buy the O2 trainer." I said, no. What if somebody's going to die right now? Well, that idiot, he didn't read what I wrote. I wrote specifically, if you do not have the virus, it's good to strengthen your muscles so that if you get it, you're never going to get it, you're going to be dealing easier with it. And since in Italy and Spain and the UK, and all these doctors are saying right now, also in America, that you have to do breathing exercises. So breathing is good for you. Breathing with resistance will even be better. Of course, when you're sick, you do not want to do that. Like if I have asthma, a severe asthma thing, you think you're going to use the O2 trainer? Of course not. It's the dumbest thing ever. So just pick your moment when you're fresh.
Yep, sounds good. Okay, let's go to some questions about kicks. And there was someone that said they would wait until they were addressed. I think it was Dano. Just throw your question up there, and I just try to go through them. They do scroll fast, but I don't have the time to address everyone, so just go ahead and throw your question up there, and you can rewrite it also. Let's talk about kicks for a second.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference for high versus low kicks? And why do you think we don't see more front kicks, like hard front kicks to the solar plexus or face?
Yeah, front kicks. Front kicks, I broke my toes a whole bunch of times. So when you see me throw a front kick, I actually throw with my heel. Literally with my heel. And as you can see, I put my foot to the side. Because if I put my toes, point them to the side, it's easier for me to kick. Now, is it a great kick? Well, it's still powerful. Is it the perfect kick? No, it's not the perfect kick. The perfect kick would be with the ball of the foot to the solar plexus. But I kicked a lot of elbows with the front kick, and then I would snap this toe. This toe constantly broke. I think I broke this 3 times and the other one 2 times. They got to tape it to the big one again. It's a freaking nightmare. So then I said, you know what? I'm just going to throw front kicks now with my heel. Front kicks to the face. I wonder, why not? I mean, it's such a smart thing to do, and especially if you have long legs. A front kick, well, we saw you with Lyoto Machida, we saw Anderson Silva, we saw Brown, was it Travis Brown? Yeah, Travis Brown, or with Overeem, right? And what he was doing, it was really smart. He was front kick to the body, and front kick to the body. He let Overeem get used to the front kick to the body. And suddenly, instead of moving out, Overeem started doing this. But his face would be in the same spot, you see? So he would move out of distance. And that was the moment that he pulled the switch and he kicked him in his face. So he moved back, boom, and he got the front kick in the face. So that's a very smart thing to do. That's kind of Jones versus Daniel Cormier, with that middle kick for 3 freaking rounds. And I know that he wanted to do it faster. But let him for 3 rounds get used to the middle kick and suddenly pull the switch, go for a head kick. But that needs really good control in your mind. Because your mind will tell you the first 3 rounds all the time, it's okay, you can do it now, you can do it now, you can do it now. There's like these 2 voices in your head, I always say. Don't listen to that voice. Just wait. And it's a hard thing to do when you're fighting.
Mm-hmm. Randy wants you to share also. Randy is another owner of our gym.
Yep, he's my partner.
Yep, and we also got questions on this too, so it was a really good point. What's your ratio of strength training to cardio and tips on training in general? And Randy wants you to tell people how you stay in such great shape with cross training. The trick to success is to mix up the power training with conditioning. That's what I always used to do. Because I can tell you now, if you do 50 sit-ups and then jump on a treadmill, see how fun that's going to be. Because you know what's going to happen? Your core starts pumping. And those muscles getting thicker, not only to the front, also to the back. Behind are your lungs. So the space inside your body becomes more compact. Now you can't completely inhale anymore because everything gets too tight. So I realized that soon, and I go, okay, wait a minute. Let's do sit-ups and conditioning, like hitting a bag. And then I start picking 3 exercises every time. A pushing exercise, a pulling exercise. So for instance, bench press, pulling to the chest, and then 50 seconds, 50 seconds, which gives you 10 seconds to go to the next exercise.
and then kicking your back as hard. 3 right kicks, 3 left kicks, 3 right kicks, 3 left kicks, as hard as you can, as fast as you can with upper body. You get really tired, and then you go back to the bench press again. So now you let your body get used to pumping up, but still doing stamina. And that really worked well for me. That's why I was always such a crazy shape. I do the hill sprints, not on a hill because you can still control your pace. I do it on a treadmill, 15% incline. Nowadays you get way higher. I think I talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago. What I do is I run for like 13 miles an hour for 10 minutes. That's my warm up. Then I start stretching. Then I put the incline all the way up, go to 9 miles an hour, let the belt go between my legs, jump on for 45 seconds and off for 30 seconds. On for 45, on. And I try to do 10 runs sometimes. The first 3 are very easy. After that, your stamina goes, and it's becoming very, very hard. But I like that and then every time when you can't make it anymore, when you cannot do 45 seconds anymore, make it 30 seconds. And then take 45 seconds rest. And if you can't do 30 seconds anymore, keep the 30 seconds, but take 1 minute rest. But log everything that you do. So then every week you can do 1 more 45 seconds. Another drill that I do is on the back. I talked about this a lot. 1 minute drills. I pick 8 combinations, that's my favorite combinations, and I blast them on the back as hard as I can. 1 combination for 1 minute as hard as you can. You're going to get tired. If you don't get tired, you're not doing it as hard as you can. If you do it the way I do it, like everybody do it at the gym, everybody gets tired. I would love to see if you still have your mouth closed after that, those nose breathers. Oh, I always have my mouth closed. Really? Let me do 1.5 minutes here. And let's see if you can still close your mouth. I would love to see that because you can't. It's going to be way too hard. 1 minute, 1 minute rest. 1 minute, 1 minute rest. Once you can do all 15 rounds, 1 minute 5 seconds, 55 seconds rest. Next week, 1 minute 1 minute 10 seconds, 50 seconds rest. So increase 5 seconds, decrease your rest with 5 seconds. If you keep doing everything full power, then after about 8 or 9 weeks, you can do 15 rounds of 1.5 minutes full power with only 30 seconds break. That's how I prepare myself for my half-hour matches in Japan, because those were 30 minutes.
Yeah, those are long.
Yeah.
And Paul asked, do you think, with your strength training, do you think bands and cable machines are effective?
Cable machines I used a lot. Cable machines, you can get so much power. Like a lot of people, they will say you have a knockout punch or you don't have it. And that's true. That it's a certain way hitting, and it's very hard to learn. But if you don't have that, you can at least increase it. So what I would do, imagine this is a cable machine, this thing, and the cable comes out here, right? So I put it at shoulder height. I actually do it a little higher than shoulder height. And the reason of that is because if I do it low, the cable is going to stretch over your shoulder. And if I do 25 repetitions, and I do a whole bunch of sets, you're going to scrape open your shoulder. It goes straight through. So watch out for that. So from the side I would grab the cable. And this is actually really good for your technique as well. Because this is going to make sure that you always push up on the back foot. Because once the weight gets low, you pull this up, you slap back. So it's going to force you to put your foot on the floor because that's the straight punches. The straight punches, I'm going to rotate as far as I can. Like we have mirrors here. I constantly check myself in the mirror if my left shoulder passes my right. Every single time. It really needs to be a core attack. After I did that, normally I used to do hooks like that, but that gave me rotator cuff problems, so I stopped doing that. So I do only straight punches, 25 repetitions, find a weight, and log everything again. Then I take body shots. So here the cable comes out here, I stand a little diagonally. This is 1 bar. Imagine there's a metal bar here, and you cannot do this at all. There's no movement. The only thing I want you to do is this. It's all core. It's all your core strength. You're going to feel this. Then I go back to straight punches again. And then the last one, that's the killer. It's the uppercuts. And in the beginning, I hated the uppercuts because it's going to really attack. You never have to do a sit-up anymore. Trust me. It's going to attack your core with a vengeance. Make sure when the wall is here that you stand close to the machine. Because if I stand like this, you see, the cable goes like this. You want to go straight up. And for the uppercuts, what I do this. I stretch them all the way. So it's not only good for uppercuts, it's also good for your underhooks when somebody tries to take you down. And doing this, your core is going to be on fire. So straight punches, body shots, straight punches, and then uppercuts. And that I do 4 times, that whole thing, 4 times, and everything 25 reps or more. Once you go, when it's easy to do like 28 reps, increase weight. That's why I always say log everything you do, because you know exactly what you did, and you can constantly keep increasing. I always did that my entire career, logging everything that you do and train.
Those are good exercises. For now, if people don't have access to a gym and they only have bands,
Rubber
they can
bands?
do that with a band, with a handle band. Yeah.
You can do it with a rubber band as well, of course, because it's a core attack. You only want to, so again, only with the straight punches you move it, but with the hooks, you almost don't do anything. This doesn't move, and you're gonna feel your core. My suggestion though, first time you do it, do 1 set. Don't do 4 sets right away, because tomorrow you never want to do it again.
Yeah.
You can't cough, you can laugh, and your core.
And there was a comment earlier from someone that I think he said he's 40, and he was like, I don't know, it's hard to train when you're older. I was dead the next day. So I think it goes back to start out slow. Like don't go crazy out the gate and do everything as hard as you can.
But you know, Dana, every time when I moved out for something, I hear you talking to the people about that. You say, hey, if it's too hard, just skip a combination. She's telling you, but you have to do it. You know, people always want to. The greatest line that I like from Dwayne Ludwig, what he says, it's a journey. It's not a race. You don't need to make it a race. If you're over 40 years old, if you have a fight in 10 weeks, now it's going to need to be a race because you're going to have 10 weeks. But if you don't have that, take your time. Baby steps are always the best. And stretching, those days that she does tomorrow again, stretching and rolling, it is so important. After every power training workout, I would hang. All these guys that want to have big muscles, not me. I want to have lengthy muscles. So I would always stretch myself. And then all these bodybuilders would tell me, but you know that you lose your muscle definition. I said, I don't care about what I look like. I care about having the strongest punch and the best punches, you know. That's what I care about. If I'm going to be completely disformed, but I'm a great fighter, who cares? I'm a great fighter. That's what me, number one. So stretch all the time.
Yeah, that recovery is huge. Those are good. Do you want to do the promo codes again? And then someone asked if they were in all caps. Maybe we can do it now and again at the end.
Okay, so for the people who just jumped in, last week we were talking about CBD. What was the best CBD product? For me, Receptra. It's really the best one out there for me. I tried a lot of them. I actually got in contact by them because I finally had a good one. And they saw me using it on, I was explaining something. And they contacted me. They say, hey, you know, we're selling Receptra. Would you like to work with us? But just know that I found that before I worked with these people. So it's really good, I promise you. And right now, if you go to Receptra Naturals, with a C, ReceptraNaturals.com, and you put at the checkout, BOSS25, all caps, do all caps. BOSS25, you get 25% of everything you buy on there. And it's a really good deal. It's really good stuff. If you have to choose, I always choose the one with the THC, and it's only 0.33%, so it's 0.3% THC, so virtually nothing. But in the plant, it's together. So I always figured if you keep it together, it works better, and it always works for me better. And last week I was talking about this. I was walking the dog. My knees were killing me, and I was taking. I actually had to make a little picture of me taking Receptra, and I did it a few times, but it missed a few times. So my wife looks at me. She said, "Well, you have a bunch of CBD in you right now." I said, "Don't worry. You know, it's the one without the THC." And when I was walking the dog, I swear, it was feeling really good, my knees. So now I'm a big believer in the CBD without the THC as well. So,
I do the one that's just CBD, the Receptra.
Just that. And so BOSS25, it's just 25%. Then bodyactionsystem.com. There's the punching thing that I did on Wednesday. People have been asking me about it. I also asked for a deal for that. If you go to bodyactionsystem.com, at the checkout you do promo code BOSS2020, all caps, BOSS2020. You get free shipping and handling, and you get extra bags to put on the Body Action System. They told me it's $125 value. So because shipping and handling, needless to say, a big thing like that costs money. And then the last one, since everybody was doing it, I figured I'm going to do it with my O2 trainer as well. You know, so if you want to buy an O2 trainer, which will really increase your expansion, chest expansion, which means you can pull more air in and faster, BOSS20 at the O2 trainer, and it takes 20% of your aura. For the people with the O2 trainer, I started 2 years ago, May 2 years ago with a certain resistance cap. And it took me 3 minutes and 45 seconds to finish 30 repetitions. It's the only thing you need to do. Just for fun, about 2 months ago or so, I tried with that same resistance cap to see what my time would be now. I went from 1 minute 45 seconds. You can check this on my Facebook page, Bas Rutten's O2 Bootcamp. That I'm not lying. You can literally see me 2 years ago starting, and you see the time. 3 minutes 45 seconds. I do it now in 1 minute and 5 seconds. So that's a giant increase. We're talking over 70% more strength. It's a big deal. Trust me.
Okay. Couple questions on defending side kicks to the body, and then someone also specifically said, what if your opponent stands in more of a side stance, or fights like Wonder Boy, side kicks? Yeah,
like Wonder Boy. I had that with Jason DeLucia. He would fight like that, and he would throw side kicks. Now, side kicks are pretty okay to block, but good guys, and I always mention Don Wilson. When Don Wilson, when he was still competing, he was the guy who made side kicks very effective, and he did it to the face. Wonder Boy does that as well. To the face, it's harder to defend. To the body, I defend it exactly the same as I defend the front kick. And then you can actually counter it right away also with the kick. So, let me see. Let's do this, and then you just... So you can do both ways. Imagine she would do what you want to do, left or right. Yeah.
Let's do right.
Right, so if she gives me a right side kick, I'm going to block it with my right, pushing it to the side, and then boom, that's my target. Now, if you want to be not such a nice person, you can actually kick their head. You kick the back of their head. But hey, she turned. You didn't turn. You see what I mean? It's not a really nice thing. I should have said that. You know? Because if
don't do it, guys.
She gives me a side kick, and I move back, see, that's the back of the head. Yeah, that's a guaranteed knockout. But I would just go for the leg, because if you kick the leg fast, that muscle is still going to be relaxed. I do the same thing with front kicks. Well, wait, first I'm going to do it wrong now. Okay, so now with the right side kick, I'm going to block it to inside. So as soon as she does this, see, now I'm still in the shooting range from her as well. So that's why I like to do it with right kick with my right arm, move it to the side, and then kick.
I mean, there's no way I could really tense this muscle anyway.
Yeah.
Even if, like, the hamstring, like, that would be hard.
Plus, what is the normal stance from somebody? Your normal stance is this, right? Mm-hmm. That's a fighting stance. This leg can take a lot of punishment because it's been kicked over and over again. Nobody focuses on this leg. Yeah. You give somebody a few low kicks to the back leg, they're gonna be out of right away because nobody trains that leg. That's why it's effective to go very close, step here, and go to the back leg. Is the hardest kick there is. So if she throws me a right front kick or side kick, I block it, I kick it to the side. Now, there's another thing. I'm going to be really technical right now, right? So if she side kicks me, first what I do, I move backwards. Because once I move backwards, she sees me moving backwards. And instead of stopping, she automatically will start reaching for a kick. And once they start reaching, well, they're off balance. So always, when she kicks, I move out of the way, and then I make the kick. Then I block. So first move out. So I don't even have to. If she would kick me, she would already miss me. See? But since I want to counter, then I'm going to go here, boom, and right away I counter with a low kick on my own. I can do that with the front kick and with the side kick. If a right front kick comes, I block it with my right arm, and then the left front kick comes, I block it with my left arm. But again, move away first. Let them reach. Let it be off balance. And then, poof, kick that leg.
Yeah, those drills are fun when we do them in class with the front kicks.
It works so good. You can jam somebody's face really leg. It's a little further away, so my whole face is a beautiful face.
Can you briefly go over, I know you've gone over it before, but your palm position in hooks and then in the liver?
Oh yeah, I saw somebody also. The liver shot. Liver shot, you look inside your hand. So, what I'm focusing on, if I hit it back, I try to come out here. That's where I try to come out. So, diagonally through the body, and I stab it in there. Remember I said, if you had a little knife sticking out of your middle knuckle here, and if I hit the back and I pull it back, and that hole is exactly as big as the knife is, it's a perfect punch. Once you slide the bag open, that means you're spreading out the impact, see? And then you slide the bag open, that's a back punch. Look inside your hands, because you want to go a little bit diagonally upwards. just starting beneath the floating rib, going upward because that's where the liver located is, and then the spleen, of course, here. With hooks, somebody asked me this as well. I answered, but fun to say. Some people like to hook like this. I always hurt my hand like that, so I like a hook like that. But I don't care in my classes, whatever you do. As long as you make sure that the elbow stays behind the hand or lower, never higher. Some guys, when they make a hook, you see them do this. That's the dumbest thing because look, there's nothing here that can put the power in. It's almost like me giving you a right hook like this. You see, there's nothing that can put my body weight in there. If I put the elbow here, now you can really put your body weight in there. So the elbow can be lower as well, that's okay, but never higher. So when you connect like this, well, there's nothing there. So you have less power. So hand position, most of the time in Poland and in Russia, they have this. I like it like that. But like I said, I don't care whatever you do. As long as you don't hurt your wrist, I'm good with everything. Elbow behind hand. That's the only thing.
Do you have any way for people to see recordings of your Muay Thai fights?
I have my Muay Thai fights. I'm going to post them. And it's always been on my page. It started out and I had 26 fights, and I go, dude, it's not true. It's not true. But then management at the time says leave it there. I said no, I wanted to. So we start thinking down, and still till this day, I believe my record is actually 12 fights, not 16 Thai boxing matches. And I just want to say that because eventually I don't have a manager anymore. I don't, so I don't need to keep the score up at higher numbers. But so I have 12 matches, and I have one that I got disqualified, but later reinstalled because it was a guy who bit a hole in my ear. I'm still trying to find that one because if you see that one, dude, that is so funny. So I slaughtered him the first round. Then the second round I come out, and he's known for being a dirty fighter. And we're standing in the clinch, and he starts biting in my ear. And you hear me go, let go, and then you see my leg go all the way back. And I go, boom, right in the pills. And he goes down, and I want to hit him while he's on the ground. And then they pull me off, and they throw a chair into the ring. And it bounces on core hammers. That's the father, the stepfather and trainer from Robin Deckers. And it bounces on his back, and it falls behind me. And I'm looking, and the whole audience, he brought all his friends, and I brought all my bouncer friends. And this Amsterdam versus the south of Holland. And they don't go really well together. And they all started fighting. And while I'm looking at everybody's fighting, and while I see the chair, and then in the middle of the ring, you see me sitting in the chair while everybody is fighting. I saw the video. Everybody knows this story in Holland. A lot of people have been there, but I'm really looking for that video because it's hilarious. And then finally, when the referee came to me, he says, why would you knee him in the balls? And I say, he bit in my ear. They looked, he bit straight through, a complete hole through my ear. Yeah, and then they grabbed the microphone and they told everybody in the audience. And then everybody stopped fighting. They knew I was right. So, but in the beginning, of course, they didn't like me so much, but they had no clue. Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm sure you guys agree. We could just sit here for an hour and just listen to your
Oh, yeah, I got so many stories like that. People have been asking me, why didn't you write a book? I started writing bullet points down one time, and I look at my wife, I go, I'm not going to do it. And she goes, why not? I says, nobody's going to believe this. Because there's so much crazy stuff that happened. But then I thought, what if I do write the story and the people who were involved, we interview them as well?
Oh,
so now people know, right? Because then they know it actually happened. Because otherwise,
it's too crazy.
You go like, there's no way that happened. Crazy. Knocking out a toilet with my head.
Yeah, he told me.
Shattering.
I hadn't heard that story. That story's okay.
Because I slipped in the restroom in Hawaii. With BJ Penn and his brothers hanging out.
Tell me if you guys want to hear that story. And do you have any tips for southpaws?
Southpaws, because everything that I say to a southpaw, always know that the orthodox fighter can do exactly the same thing with you in a carbon copy, of course. So most of the time, southpaws inside low kicks are very powerful because it's an open stance, right? If one is a southpaw, the other one is orthodox, they call it an open stance. So if somebody is a southpaw and I'm orthodox, it means with my right leg, I can kick his inside leg, really freak it out. But he can do the same thing with his left leg, to your leg. Then straight punches to the body with your power hand, with your back hand, are the best. They line up the best. how do I say that? Yeah, we talked about that last week. For instance, if she would stand here, and she stands in an orthodox stance, and not like we stand here. So you're standing a little bladed position to me. So this is a lot of people say. See, my straight punch now kind of slips off. See that? Kind of slips off because she stands in an angle. If she's a southpaw, look, now you got a really great target. So straights to the body with the power hand, uppercuts in the clinch. See, same thing. The right uppercuts are working very effectively. And of course, if it's a southpaw, I would start kicking this leg. Because chances are in training, nobody kicks that leg. They all go for the front leg. You know, but once you start kicking the back leg, that is the best way to take that person out.
And to throw in my 2 cents, when you were talking about how you would switch stances all the time, like even just with the warm-ups, I would say, especially if you're new to fighting and you actually want to fight, I wish I would have started switching stances sooner, because I still feel awkward in southpaw, and I feel like if I would have done back and forth sooner, for one, you also get the other leg trained.
Yeah.
Because then when my right leg first started getting kicked, it took a while till I could take, and I still can't take as much as on my left leg.
Yeah.
But when Laura and I would kick each other hard at southpaw, we'd be like, ah! Whereas normally we wouldn't feel it at all on the left leg. So I would switch stances.
Switch stances is always the best thing to do. Another thing, switch to me like this. Imagine she's a southpaw, so she's standing in this side right now, right angle, and she would jab me, and me, I'm orthodox. But remember, the other fighter can do the same thing to you. As soon as she jabs, fall to the side with the right straight. That's your power hand beating the jab. Regilio Tuur, he was a Dutch guy who went to the Olympics, and I believe it was Kelsey Banks. That guy was a really good boxer, and they said he was going to win the gold medal at the Olympics. And Regilio Tuur, the guy from Holland, knocked him out. That was this move that he used. So he moved away from the jab, out of the line of fire, and then connected with the right straight. That's a really nice thing to do. But again, if you jab, she can do the same thing to me. You see? So everything that a southpaw can do to you, you can do to that person as well.
Mm-hmm. People say, write the book.
Yeah.
The book will sell. And if someone said, how about a TV show with your stories? That would be cool.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Or maybe... Or a YouTube channel.
I need to do something, just such a crazy story. I have to watch out that my youngest daughter is 21, because otherwise she's going to go, yeah, you tell me not to do it, but you did it, right? So and then I can't say anything. So let's wait till she's 21 years old, and then I might write a book.
Do you have a favorite combo?
Oh, yeah, a lot of combinations I like. A very simple one is a left hook and a right straight to the body. We call it left hook, right body. And especially if you make the left hook very theatrical. Every time when I really make a big punch, that is to set my opponent up. Because sometimes when you go too fast, they don't react on a fast punch, and then you can use it. So if I go with a big left hook, they'll block it, and the straight punch to the body, 9 out of 10 times I'm going to nail it. I mean, it's such a great punch. Left hook and then a right straight to the body. And then my whole spiel comes in. So if I hit that body shot really hard, and I feel it went really hard, and you can kind of tell if he had problems with it or not. But even if you feel the impact is really hard, I'm telling you right now, he's going to be afraid of that punch. So that's when you step back, and this is hard to do in a fight, but it works because I did it. And then you tell the person, nice one, right? Watch, I'm going to do it again. Just tell them that you're going to do it again. And right away, through the same combination, you lower yourself, and because now you come with that strong punch again, which they don't want to get hit with, this time they are ready because they're going to block it. And once they block it, that's when I add a left hook to the head. So I go left hook, boom! And only when that connects really hard, I'll tell him, and I'm going to do it again. And right away, I do exactly the same thing again, but then I add a left hook to the head. And most of the time, that left hook is the one that knocks him out.
You guys are funny. I would actually, well, you go back and see the comments, but it's really, so when you said she could do the same thing back, he says, so if someone throws a grenade at you, you can throw a grenade back.
Yeah, well,
or vice versa.
I've seen a really cool thing. A guy threw a stunner grenade into and it bounced back. And then one of those military guy, he caught it and he right away threw it. He redirected it back in the thing. I go, whoa, that is some crazy reflexes. Really cool. Grenades, so that everybody knows with grenades, you don't want to throw them like this, right? You know why that is? Because many times there might be a person or something standing in. If you throw a grenade and the grenade falls in there. So with the grenade, always make sure that you throw next to your ear. So I don't know why I'm explaining this. We're fighting and we're talking about grenade holding, but that's the only thing I know from throwing grenades. That you can't be out here. You have to be close to your ear because otherwise she might.
That's really
fall out. Yeah.
That's good advice if you ever have to
Good advice. Don't use it in court.
You never know what you're going to get. It's always a surprise. Since you were self-taught with your ground fighting, do you have recommendations for how people can go about learning ground? Any books?
Yeah, I have the Boss Brutus big DVDs of combat. And what I'm going to tell you right now is 100% the truth. BJ Penn, right? I mean, the prodigy. And he is a prodigy. I think he did 3 or 4 years Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, became a black belt. Everybody in Brazil said that it was fake, that he didn't know what to do. He went to Brazil and he won the world championships in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That says a lot about the talent of BJ Penn. He called me when he was going to take a run for Matt Hughes, for the Matt Hughes fight. That's how long this is ago. And I didn't know him at the time yet. And he calls me and says, hey, it's BJ. I said, BJ Penn? Yeah, I say, man, cool. What are you doing? He says, I just watched your big DVDs of combat. I go, cool. What do you think? He says, dude, unbelievable. What a great set. He says, who taught you all the inside hand controls? I said, me. He said, what do you mean? I said, I never had a coach. But I realized if I grab a wrist, people can get out. So I always use hand control so they can't turn their arm. He said, dude, I love it. Really cool. And then he said, okay, I got to go because I'm going to take a run. I go, wait, can I use that quote? Because a quote from BJ Penn, right? That's a big freaking quote in the submission game. So, and he said, yes. So that's why I can say that. There's a lot of stuff on there. And if you go to the leg locks, for instance, we'll talk in 45 leg locks. With all the escapes I show you as well. And then I show you also how to stay out of it. Everything I show slow motion, complete broken down, and then I show it in fast speed. If you want to see it again, I don't use more slow motions to do it. I don't use that. There's actually no slow motion. I just show it in slow motion while I guide you through it. Then I show it at real speed. And then most of the time, because in Japan I had a lot of submissions, I attach, this is me actually doing that submission. And then you have a little video of me doing it into a professional fight. So there's a lot of information. I think it's 11 hours of instruction with no reruns that replay very slow motion. I don't have that. That's all out. You want to see it again? Hit the back button. That's what I said.
I'm not sure what this is, but what are your thoughts on training with a maze bag? M-A-I-Z-E.
What is that again?
I don't know.
Is that... Can we Google?
Sure.
I'll Google right now. So that tells you what I do with the maze bag. Well, if I see it, okay, a maze ball. That's yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nevertheless. Okay, we got it. So no, I don't have anything. I think it's better, right? It's a little softer because there's softer stuff in there. Yes,
not really.
To put a little closer, maybe if you do it like those.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
Those
so it's
ones.
where you do the
this one,
patterns.
This one there. Yeah. No, I don't have drills for it. The bags like that and this one I never did. What I did is just punches. Well, they know in my class. Just this drill. Standing, just this. Do that for 1 minute. Good luck. That will pop like that acid in your shoulder. Very easy. 35 seconds in, it's going to be much harder. And then the speed is really good because your muscles contract faster. You'll pick up speed as well. Sometimes only power is not good, but really fast hitting like that. And it doesn't need to be hard. You almost don't need any power. And once you can do it easy 1 minute, go 1 minute 5 seconds, 1 minute 10 seconds, 1 minute 15 seconds. Every time do 5 seconds extra. If you can do that 2 minutes in a row, you're not going to build up lactic acid anymore. You don't need to be worried. So like that.
Okay, I think we should do your
clotheslines. Okay.
And your setup for your switch liver, right? That's what
switch kick.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm stretching this. Guys, I don't want to go too crazy on this. Yesterday, I talked to somebody from India. Believe it or not, he tried to get a hold of me for a long time, and he was showing me all the videos that he has about fighting. And suddenly he showed a clothesline video. I go, wait, stop! Why did you get that? And then I was with Shane Faison. I was doing that one time. He was in our gym. And apparently my wife just called me just before we started, and he sent the link to me. I will post that link today. I will make an edit I'll make a new post so nobody can go wrong. And that's when I use it with power. The only reason I don't want to go full power on this back right now is that left is my only good arm. You see this right arm? I lost all the muscle here. It's like, you see, it's all a hole. This is all filled up, see? And this is all gone. So that's because of neck surgeries. My nerves stopped working, and nerves actually for people, it's not only for pain, they send signals to your muscles to start working. That's why people who break their backs, they can't walk anymore because they don't get signals sent to their muscles. It's like the spark plug in a car. Think about that. You take it out, cylinder won't work. That's what happened with me. Now with me, it's not stopped, but they're squeezed somehow. It's blocked somewhere, so a little bit comes out. Fires only a little bit. So I don't go too hard because I don't want to mess up this arm. But this is the punch. It's a clothesline. That's what we call it, right?
Yes.
Let me see. So you can kick it back, but I think this punch actually is a harder punch to do. Let me do a little bit stretching just to make sure. So what I'm doing, I keep the elbow a little of the arm a little bent. This is important because we want to hit the perfect punch. But you know, in a fight, somebody might pull his head back. And if I land this full punch in my hand, I'm going to hyperextend my arm. I'm going to really damage my arm. That's why I keep it a little bit bent. And I try to hit with this part here. This part of the wrist. And you can go just a slow one. This, I mean, you look at the left hook, and this is it's a much harder punch. This is literally 50% of what I'm throwing right now. Plus, I explained also last week, did we explain? When Dana is in full defense, it doesn't matter if she wants to block everything. Look, because it goes still behind. Boom. I still hit with this part, the back of her head. It's still outside the mohawk, guys. It's a legal punch. I truly believe once we see people start knocking out others with that, there might be even a rule against it because this is such a destructive force. It's crazy. What about all fours? Somebody's in all fours and you're sitting next to him. Just load up like this. Boom! I mean, you can hold your defense, it will go straight through. It's such a hard punch. So don't hit like this. Just make a clothesline under the face and hit it with this part of the wrist. It's an extremely powerful punch. Kicks. Let me stretch it a little tiny bit. The liver kick. The switch liver kick.
Switch liver kick.
Okay, I'm doing it wrong first. This is how many people make a switch kick. That's it. So they're standing like this, and they're kick. They can't really generate any power. They can only use their leg power. The harder you can stretch it, the more power you have. I like to kick using my body weight. And you do that by upper body rotation. Like if I throw my upper body, and then I almost don't need any power, it will do it. If you want to see this to the max, watch Ramon Decker's fight. That's when you will see a guy use that in his fights perfectly. So, if you switch just like this, I can't rotate my upper body. But if I switch like this, that's a whole different ballgame now. So, this is a weird thing to do. You're going to feel a stretch here. But that stretch is going to be for half a second because it's only when you switch and immediately you fire. As soon as you fire, I want you to drive your upper body through. A lot of people, when they switch, they kick and they stop the shoulder here. Don't stop the shoulder there, drive it through. Go through it. It's like the lumberjack they always talk about. Well, he doesn't do this, he doesn't stop, he drives it in. And then he pulls it out, drives it through. So, have 2 lines on the floor. That's what I would do if I were you. 2 lines on the floor next to the back. Both feet are on those lines. If you switch, that foot is on this line or outside, and the left leg comes here. Now it's all about upper body rotation. The faster I throw to the right, the harder that goes through. And I'm going to drive through, so you're going to make it what? Those are the ones that are the best when you don't hear this. Or this. You hear click sound, I want you here it goes up. One. That is a hard kick because I feel it on my shin. You see the back move. So really try to focus on this main part of the grip. So left shoulder back, left hip back. And get used to it because in the beginning it's a little awkward. Don't go too fast here because now I'm balancing in one line. That's why I said put those 2 lines on the floor. Then you're sitting like this. 1, bring it back. And that's the left kick from hell. Very powerful.
Nice. Okay, in case anyone has to jump off, do you want to just quickly say the promo codes one more time?
Oh, what time do we have? It's 11. Okay. Well, we can go a little longer. For all the people last week, again, I'm repeating myself. There were some questions about Receptra, about CBD. I said this is the best brand that I use. ReceptraNaturals.com. Go there at checkout. Use promo code BOSS25, all caps. BOSS25, 25% off. The Body Action System, the punching device from last Wednesday. People have been asking me left and right. Go to bodyactionsystem.com. If you do promo code BOSS, capitals, 2020, you get free shipping and handling, and you get extra bags that you need to hold the Body Action System down. They told me it's $125 value. If you go to o2trainer.com and you use BOSS20 at checkout, also all caps, you get 20% off your O2 trainer. So those are the deals only for the people who are watching right now. That's why you don't see me posting about it, because last week we did 2 days with Receptra, and then somebody asked me about it last Saturday, and I say, oh, we just were outside the 2 days. I said, but let me ask them if we can do something only for the viewers here. So that's why they said yes, but only for the viewers right now.
Okay, cool. We can either, do you want to take another question or do you want to with the story? I think they like the stories too.
They like the stories. Tisha was asking me about the Dutch combo.
Oh, yeah.
Right, the left hook, right low kick, right straight liver kick, cross hook, middle kick, cross hook, low kick, and then a hook cross high kick, and on the back. Now, on the back, what happens is, for instance, so left hook, right low kick, boom, step back, right straight, middle kick. After that, because now your left leg is front, cross, hook, low kick, and then a hook, cross, and then you're going to switch and make it into a high kick. If you want to make it a switch high kick, do what I just did. Bring your shoulder back and then go, rotate the upper body to the right. Keep driving your upper body through. Now the back, normally, so if I use Dana, for instance, if I give a left kick and then a right straight left hook and she does not move, look, I'm going to be too close. You see? But that might happen in a fight as well. So if that happens, boom, I'm too close. This is what I'm doing. 1, 2. I see. I create the space myself. Because sometimes people, they will go back. And then it's easy. But there are fighters who stand still. Even better, if you fight a really good striker, you need a lot of stamina. Keep pushing the fight. It's very hard if she wants to strike me and I just keep in her face the whole time. It's very hard for her to strike with power. So constantly pushing, pushing, pushing. Now, if you're not used to that in training, that's going to be a problem. So make sure if you hold focus minutes for your student, for your partner, that one time you stand still, one time I start moving forward, one time I start moving backwards, I even go to the side, and then I do these little tricks. For if I see Dana, for instance, not loading up on the left hook, what I start doing then, I bring this hand where I catch the left hook with all the way here. See, I'm going to force her now to load up, because if she doesn't load up, there's not going to be any power in that punch. So don't hold the hand here and here, because you give her a false sense of distance right now. Because if she's focusing constantly on hitting the target there, and then in the real fight the target is here, see, there's no load up anymore. So it doesn't do anything. So make sure that you catch everything. I tell my students also, with the gloves, catch it in front of your face. This is important. Never do that. That's why I like the Body Action System. It's one head, one body. That's why I don't like the Focus Master. The Focus Master is one face there, the hook is there, and the hook is there. Now you get 4 faces. You see? It's not a real person. It's nice for stamina. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying what's not thought about too much is the false sense of distance that I always talk about in the class. Another thing, I touched on that last week as well, and then we do some questions. But if a body is here, face is here, body is here. Now, if you catch punches from people, you certainly put the face there. Nobody has a body like this, like face here and body here. So now if I say to her, right straight liver shot, see, it's very hard for her to hit that liver shot with 2 feet on the ground. She's going to have to lean in. Like if she would do it on my face, see, now she's perfect distance. So always know that in your mind that this is not a good thing. So if you catching punches for somebody, see, well, we have those here, the big shields. They're really thick. And I do that on purpose because now if my hands are here, you see, then it's exactly the same as a real body. That little thing, pushing the hands to the side and catching in front of your face, your striking is going to be much stronger. It really will. So really focus on that.
Okay, well, we're at 11:05.
11:05. Okay, a few more questions. Yeah.
Okay. How would you safely enter to do a rear leg kick? I thought this was really good because I still struggle with this.
For what?
I think either stance. So if you wanted to kick my rear leg, how would you safely enter? And
for the outside leg.
Yeah, for the back leg.
Yeah.
Because how you were saying kick the back leg because they don't train it. And I have the same question in sparring too. I'm always like, I'm afraid to try to get to the back leg. Like they're
hook, right hook, left, right hook. Because a hook is automatically on shoulder. So if I go to the left, right hook, I'm going to be closer, see, and then I hit. And you can tell when I give the low kick, I try to give it with this part of my shin. So not below. I always try to hit like this. So my last fight, when I stopped the guy with low kicks, the last kick I throw, that was not good. I hit him with my foot. But the one I just kicked in before, so that means his muscles weren't relaxed. I felt click. And I knew right away. I go up, fight's over. And right away he started limping. Then I gave him one more kick and he went down. You see, so that's why I like to keep with this part. Nothing goes wrong. So right hook or even right uppercut. Boom, right uppercut. See, because then you're standing very close to attack that back leg. Whatever you need to do, you need to bring your shoulder all the way forward. Because the more you can bring your shoulder this back, the harder it can rotate and the harder that kick is going to be. Now watch if I don't do that. And I do it also in the bladed position. So right hook, see, there's nothing there. There's nothing there to attack. Now if we stand wide like we stand, I give a right hook, see, now I can still generate a pretty good power. Then I start from the back leg. You can still generate some force. Those are the ones that you don't hear, but they're very effective.
Very good. I maybe think you should do the toilet story since you mentioned it about how you broke the toilet.
How I broke the toilet. Okay, so
I like the story.
I have this really weird thing that I need to shower before I go to bed. And it doesn't matter in what situation I am. So if I'm completely drunk, I still have to shower before I go to bed. It's a defect in my mind. I have to do it. So I'm in Hawaii for a fitness convention. All bodybuilders and fitness people and powerlifters, everybody was there. I went out with BJ Penn and his brothers. BJ went to bed early. I kept hanging out with his brothers because they were a lot of fun, let me tell you that. And then I came home and I had to shower. And of course I'm drunk and I had drank too much. So I'm coming out of the shower and I slip. And don't ask me how this is possible. I have no clue. I slip, I fall, my back of my head, I hit the toilet rim. And the freaking toilet explodes like 150 pieces. So I hit a weak spot. I have no clue why I'm not dead. I mean, I could have been that easy, but the toilet explodes.
Only boss could break a toilet. I'm just saying.
But that's what I said. It had to be a weak spot because come on. I mean, I might be a fighter, but nobody's that tough. Trust me. It was just the Lord sending the weak spot there. So I have 2 queen beds there. So I'm walking in the room because I'm drunk. Remember that. I'm not thinking really clear. Plus, I just hit the thing. So I'm grabbing the blankets from one bed and I throw it on the hole because I saw water come out. And I just leave it on there. I figure it's okay. And I go to sleep. Now, the next day I wake up and I thought, did I dream? Were there people in my room last night? And I go, that is weird. I said, did I break the toilet? So weird. And I go inside the bathroom. And what I always do, I sit when I pee so I don't have to turn the light on. You know, because otherwise you wake up. So I'm sitting down and I start praying and I can see the light switch. I have to wake up anyway. So I lean over and hit the light switch and I'm freaking out. I mean, there's blood everywhere. There's bloody handprints. If you saw the movie The Blair Witch Project at the very last scene with all the little handprints, it looked exactly like that, you know. And I'm like, and I'm looking in the mirror. I don't have any defect, no blood. And I go, oh crap, did I kill somebody? Did I throw something? I'm literally going to the closets to see if I did something to somebody. I go to my balcony and looking down if I threw somebody. I have no clue what happened. Right? So the telephone goes, and the telephone is the security. We need to come up right now. I go, yeah, what? Be my guest. So it comes up, this beautiful girl, and it comes first. She's in clothes. And I have these pictures, these Bas Rutten pictures, El Guapo pictures, like in a 70s suit. I'm standing on a picture like this with a big smile and my tooth is blinking and it says, El Guapo says dance. You know, I always wanted to make funny autograph pictures, not they're so serious.
Yeah.
And she goes, is that you? I go, yeah, it's me. She said, oh, that's a beautiful picture. I go, thank you. You know, we're standing there and I said, what's going on? She says, yeah, you broke the toilet. I said, I see. I knew that, you know, because I dreamt about it. She says, my boss is very angry. He's very angry. He's not going to be happy if he comes. I said, well, we'll deal with it when he comes. So we'll see that. We crossed that bridge, right? And then she says, oh, he's coming. And the guy walks in, and the guy looks, and he said, okay, you go. Bas Rutten. Oh, man, big fan of yours. So, of course, I was holding again. Now, then I came home downstairs. And all these bodybuilders that I was hanging out with and these fitness people for a while, they were all happy and everybody was laughing. I go, what's going on, guys? Everybody's in a good mood. They said, well, you know, we all got free breakfast for the entire week. I go, why? He said, some knucklehead did something in his room and the whole 38th floor started floating. All our luggage got wet. And I go, you're welcome. And they go, what do you mean? I said, that was me. The knucklehead was me. You have free breakfast because of me. That's my story in Hawaii. This was so crazy. And what happened was, so I fell backwards. Boom. So I had the cut on behind of my head. Right? So what happened when I fell, I'm like all dizzy, and I'm holding my hand and I'm falling. See, and that's where all the bloody handprints came from. But so when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see anything. I go, man, I have nothing. And I didn't feel the cut as well. So that's my Hawaii story. Honolulu.
That's a good one. I just heard that one for the first time the other day. That was a good one.
It's, yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow, if you guys want to do recovery, if you guys have time, make your duct tape tennis balls here. So just duct tape them together. I have purple duct tape because I like purple. So try to make that. Be doing the recovery at 10 a.m. here. We'll be back on Monday with another workout. If you missed the promo codes, you can rewind. We said them 3 times. And there's some questions in here about nutrition stuff.
Right, this is the first thing I think. I'm a guy. You know, I think about a big bull right now who's standing somewhere eating some grass, and these things are dangling. Well, I don't know. If he's been kicked in them, he might have purple ones.
If he met you on a drunken night.
Man, can't get the kid out of the guy, right?
No. I'll be happy to address some of those nutrition questions. I actually have had a lot of questions about supplements lately. Someone asked about collagen and omegas. I love those. What supplements do you like?
I take everything basic. So I got the ubiquinol. You know, that's broken down CoQ10. That's really good. I take L-arginine. I actually buy that from you.
Yeah.
L-arginine, if you don't know that, it won a Nobel Prize. If there's one thing you should take that every single day. It's very important. It's really good for your blood, for your veins. They become more elastic. Your blood comes being cleaner. It's really good. I take magnesium. Magnesium, what do? I take red yeast rice. Red yeast rice. If you have high cholesterol, take that. It's natural. It'll drop your points. Like within 3 months, I dropped 40 points just by taking red yeast rice. Boom. Yeah, no, it's really good for that. What is it? Vitamin C, of course. Vitamin D3 and K2.
Yes.
K2 takes all what is the bone is made of? Calcium. Takes all the calcium out of your blood and actually puts it in your bones. It's really good for the heart. I had rheumatic fever as a kid. I have a lot like leaking heart valve. Don't worry, because I have to do every year a stress test, a heart stress test. And the doctor told me, I said, am I good? He said, boss, you're the first person ever who completed the test. So yeah, you're going to be okay. So don't worry about it. But you know, I have to check myself up all the time. And I had a lot of calcium in my veins apparently. So I started taking K2 combination with D3. It needs to be together.
Yeah.
Actually, they sell it together. They buy
Yes.
it, yeah.
And it can't just be regular vitamin D or regular vitamin. It has to be D3 and K2.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it, I think. Okay, what? Oh, I think. What's the name? It's good for my memory. Yeah, believe it. And now I'm forgetting it. Right? That's a good one, actually.
I thought you were doing it on purpose.
Because no, I just put it in there. I have this thing for a week, and then every week, I just fill them up and close them, and in the morning is the first thing I take.
But there's lots of good things good for me.
Yeah, but it's all natural stuff I take. Calm, that powder, the what is it? Magnesium also, but it makes you nice and relaxed. It's a powder, Calm. You can get it at the Whole Food store. They have it over there. I really like that as well. When you go to sleep, it actually works for sleep as well.
Okay, cool. Well, let's, I think, go with that for now.
All right, guys.
Hopefully you guys got a lot of good info. We'll go back to the comments
I
too.
think we got it. With the stretched leg and the low kick, you remember I was talking about that? I do that one more before I forget.
Yes.
So, I'm going to do it this side so you can see. So after a liver shot, a lot of people throw a low kick. But when they throw a low kick, they try to hit still with this part of the shin. So they start doing like this stuff. Never do that, guys. That's like the dumbest thing. Now you're padding your kick. So you take the power out of it. What you want to do on a close distance, first of all, I'm not going to turn on the ball of my foot because I will close the distance. So what I'm doing, I'm turning on the heel of my foot. But that you have to start working out because you have to make a decision on the spot, of course. So if I give a low kick now from this distance, I automatically do it on my heel. Because if I go forward, see, I'm going to be too close and I will take the power out. It would be better to give him a knee at that moment. But I'm still going to keep with this part of the shin. All the way just below your knee. And that's the most effective. This is the hardest low kick you can give somebody, trust me. Keep your legs stretched. This is the most important thing. It feels very uncomfortable in the beginning when you do it, but just keep it stretched and then just this. See, you don't hear the impact? That is the one. See the back, how it's flying. I don't even use power now. See, I'm just rotating. And this is a very heavy back, as you can see. I mean, it's a hard back. But keep with this part of the shin. Keep your legs stretched and just go just to stretch back against it. You do this in training with a shin guard, your training partner is not going to love that. It's a really powerful kick. Keep the leg stretched. That is the trick. It's like a big, heavy baseball bat. Boom! Drill it in. Guys, have a great weekend. Tomorrow, Easter. Boom! Right. Yes!
All right.
I don't know where the bunny comes from with Easter, but I think it's because they multiply. They multiply a lot. I was trying to find a good word I could say. Otherwise, I have to say,
multiply.
So that means, multiply. That's what we're doing.
So I'll see you guys here for recovery and stretching tomorrow on Easter morning.
That's it. And she will be back in the cage there, so you're not going to be distracted by all the crap here in the background. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter. And I will see you back on Monday together with Dana, and Dana will be here tomorrow for you. And I would really take those classes. Stretching, recovering, it is so important. All right?
All right. Thank you.
That will be the punch.